Well, I'm a science teacher, chemistry and biology. I teach at a school in Brooklyn, Boys and Girls High School, which is a challenge on its own. All right, but as Jamaicans and people living in the diaspora, we have to meet the challenges wherever they are. And I enjoy doing what I do. I enjoy teaching, even though, as I said, it can be challenging at times. But at the end of the day, you feel that you've made a difference in children's lives and people's lives, and many of my students will come back and thank me, and I get an excitement and enjoyment out of just seeing the growth in many of my students. Many of our students, I find nowadays, they tend to shy away from the sciences and mathematics. But I keep imploring my students that if they are able to cope with math and science at the high school level, then when they get to that higher level, the tertiary level, they will tend to cope a little bit easier. They will do a little bit better, and graduation rates will be much higher. It gets very frustrating if you don't have, say, a chemistry background and you want to do something in the applied sciences, or you want to do some professional, medical program, whether it's physiotherapy or medicine. You have to have that background. So even though students tend to shy away from the sciences, I tend to push them in that direction, because I know for the future, the wave of the future, if you want to find, occupations that are available, all right, because you always have to look at the trend. You want to go into the science and the field of mathematics. At the college level, they expect students to come with the prerequisite skills. They are looking for students and they are not professors on the whole. They don't have the patience to sit with you and to take you through those baby steps. All right, so that's why I would tell my students, and I would say, look, make sure you get the chemistry, whether it's general chemistry and even introductory program to organic chemistry from high school. All right, and get the biology and the physics if you can. All right, because at that level, it's full speed ahead. It's full speed ahead, and as I said, professors are not, they don't have the patience, or sometimes they don't have the resource of time to actually, sit with you and go through the nuances of the basic parts of chemistry or biology or physics. I think that if you really have a passion to do a certain profession, whether you want to go into medicine, then you should begin from an early stage. And most successful doctors, I believe, they probably looked at the future. They looked ahead, and they at maybe 14, 15 years old, and they might say to themselves, what do I really want to do with my life? And they probably start looking at some of the skills that they would need, all right, and start implementing the steps that they need to take to get to those goals. All right, it doesn't make sense when you are 19, 20 years old that you say to yourself, oh, I want to be a doctor, and you have not done the background work. It's like, I'm building this house and I didn't lay a foundation, but now I want to build a roof. I mean, it doesn't work. So it's very important. High school education is very important. Getting those basic skills is very important, whether it's in science or mathematics. It's very important. So whether or not we have lost out on many opportunities to have numerous doctors, I don't think that's the case. I think you have to have that drive from early and that zeal from early, and get good advice. Find a good mentor, because sometimes the mentoring of our young people is lacking, and they are not given good advice and misleading advice. All right. So if you can find somebody in your school, whether it's a teacher or a guidance counselor, who can tell you that this is the steps that you need to take to get to point B, all right, from point A, then that's the way to go. Absolutely. Like I asked my students recently, what percentage of the week do they allot to studying versus the social media versus TV versus YouTube and so on, and they were very honest, and they told me probably 85 to 90% of the time they are on the social media, and then the other 5 to 10% they are looking to do homework, and they probably do some mediocre assignment and then turn that in. All right. Parents must monitor their students or their children, at a higher level. All right. Like we will have meet the parent night, and I get out of say 90 students, I would get maybe 15 parents, 15, 20 parents. All right. So obviously something is wrong with that picture. All right. Parents need to play a greater role in the lives of their students, of their children. All right. And in being constant communication with the teachers, because there's sometimes kids go through emotional and social issues and whatnot, and parents and teachers must communicate to actually take the temperature of the students and their children, and to see what's going on, so that students are not misled by peers, go off on a tangent. All right. And just keep testing the water just to see what's happening, because believe me, there is so much distraction and peer pressure that's out there for these students. All right. And these children, that they have to be under constant parental and adult supervision. There's always hope. Absolutely. I believe, if there wasn't any hope, I would not be doing what I'm doing. There's absolutely hope. But of course, there has to be changes at different levels, maybe at the highest level. We have to have more smarter programs. People have to use more common sense. It's not everything you can throw money at. The New York City Department of Education, their budget is probably about $20 billion. It's a lot of money. I'm not sure the exact figures, but the fact is money cannot cure every ill. You see, and teachers and administrators and the people who are in charge at the highest level, the superintendents, they have to begin to think a little smarter about the approach to education. How do we provide services for students? What are the problems that these students are facing? How can we alleviate these problems? And ask some questions that might sound severe, but there are questions that it's necessary for us to ask these questions. I don't think people come into teaching for the money. My mom was a teacher, and she was always crying for that extra, and for me, I'm not in teaching for the money. There's satisfaction that I gain just from seeing my students succeeding at the end of the day, students coming back and saying thank you, and you feel that you have done human service when you get that feedback. And I try to teach my students not just about science. I try to teach my students about life. I bring my old-fashioned ways that I learned from my grandmother, all those parables and those sayings and whatnot, and I give them life lessons, and they appreciate that even more than sometimes even the science that I'm giving them. Right. So I feel like I'm really making a difference in many of these lives. I say what's up to my wife Sharon. I want to say what's up to my mom, Fancita. I want to say what's up to Shania. I want to say what's up to all my good Jamaican brethren out there and sistering. One love, big up.